If I had to go back and start over, start a new business at day one, how exactly would I do that? Well, I remember what it was like when I started my business, and I know I didn't do everything the right way, and I know I was inexperienced, and I know I didn't know about business, and I know I didn't know anything. And when we start businesses, the way we combat our inefficiency, our inexperience, and our lack of knowledge is with hard work. It's with brutal hard work. And that's why everybody talks about how hard it is to start your first business, because it's fucking hard. And the reason it's hard is because you've never done it before. So we have to bang our head against the wall. We have to work crazy hours. We have to go nonstop, and it takes years before we have anything to show for it. That's what starting a business is. But now, after 6 years, I have a roofing company that does about $16 million a year. I'm starting my second business as we speak. And because I'm starting an extra business right now, I'm starting to see how much easier it is to start your second business, because you learned a bunch of shit with the first one. So if I can make this video and you in year 1 or 2 can watch this and listen to how I would do things differently, hopefully you can steal some of this and accelerate your growth, because you're probably working on the wrong shit and you don't even know what you're doing wrong, because you don't know, and that's okay. And that's why we make these videos. That's why I watch people. When I was coming up, I watched videos of guys that had already been there. So to provide some context before I start, I'm going to speak to you as if you have industry experience, because I had industry experience. I had roofing labor specifically as experience, but I knew the ins and outs of the service I'm offering. I knew how a roof project went together, and that's about all I knew. Maybe you have sales experience. I don't think the answer to this question is that much different if you have sales experience. You know the industry you're in. You know the product you offer. You know the service that you offer. If you don't even know that, it's going to be that much harder. I don't think it's going to be impossible, but it's going to be that much harder. And all I'll say to that is you should hire that experience pretty much from day one. Which brings me into some overarching themes I would have in my head to like make decisions and just like frame where I'm at in year 1 in my business. And the first one being, you need to look at this as a long-term play. You have to look at this as a long-term play. You have to understand that you're not going to make real money for a little while. It's impossible to tell you how long, but minimum, I would say, is like year 2, you know, and everybody's definition of real money is different. But I mean like life-changing money, where like you start making $1 million a year when previously you were making 60 grand a year. I'm talking about real money. Yeah, you can make 300-400 grand a year and be doing well and be like almost in the 1% of earners in the US. But I want you to change your life with your business. I want you to start making 7 figures and counting with your business, because it's very possible to do. And there's a lot of guys that do it in your industry, I promise. So you have to understand from day one that you are not going to be making money for a while. And that's okay. It's normal. It's what happens to all of us, and we just have to understand that, because it's going to make it easier to swallow investments, to hire more people, to buy the trucks, to buy the office space, if you're okay with not having anything to show for your business money in terms of money for a while. Because I see a lot of guys, they get stuck kind of holding on to their pennies and just trying to save all the money they are making, and they're making okay money, and they don't realize that that money that they're making is adequate enough to throw gas on their business and grow it if they were to put it in the right places. But they're just nervous, they're too conservative, and they just hold on to everything they have, and they're literally keeping themselves small by doing so. So they're holding on to the little pennies that they do have instead of giving them back to the business and blowing it the fuck up and then actually making life-changing money. So you have to understand that this is a long-term play, and not just in the terms of money, but in terms of your marketing efforts, in terms of your building a sales team, in terms of building your entire team as a whole. Everything needs to be viewed in a long-term lens. Is this going to be good for me just right now, or is this going to be amazing for me 3 years from now? A lot of my advice is going to come from that lens, because I've been in it for 6 years now, and all the best things I've done for my business took time to develop, all of them. And I'm going to get into a bunch of them as I start to lay this out from day one, but things take time to develop. Investing in little things now that'll turn into big things in the future is what you want to be doing, and you have to understand that in year 1 and think that way in year 1. The overarching themes is this is a long-term play, and just second would be you have to do this for other people. You have to do this for other people. And you should want to do this for other people, but maybe if you're not really thinking that way right now, the one thing I'll tell you is that the most fulfilling thing of owning a business is taking care of the people around you and watching the people around you's lives change through joining your team. It is the most fulfilling thing about business. It is not the money. It is not the numbers. Although, like, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not necessarily money motivated, but I love watching the numbers climb year after year because it's a scoreboard and I'm competitive. So I do love that. But nothing is better than when that kid joins your business at 18, is kind of a dipshit, has no life experience, is kind of a punk, is shy, and he stays on your team for 3 years and now is like a whole ass man and like built confidence and is making great money for a 21-year-old kid and is respected at work because he's good at his job and feels good and is working out now. That's the best part of owning a business. So if you know that you're doing this not only for yourself and not only to grow a business and not only to make money, but really to improve the lives of the people that end up joining your team, and you like your team getting bigger every single year, that's going to be one of the most powerful things to keep you moving and keep you hungry and keep you motivated year after year, because your team, people keep getting added to the team. So it's more and more, I don't want to call it pressure, but it's more and more motivation to keep this fucking thing moving, because that's just that many more people you got to take care of. And I feel like all the business owners I respect understand that and operate that way, where they feel like they work for their employees, not the other way around. So let's get into it. I just wanted to go over the long term and the doing it for other people, because like that's the overarching themes that all my thinking around business comes from. Day one. Yes, you need a brand. Yes, you need a clean logo. You need a memorable logo, but I make videos about this stuff all the time. So I kind of want to get into more tactical information right away and like kind of get into the weeds of what year one looks like. And then be realistic. I want to be realistic about where you are when you're in year one, because there's so many guys on the internet giving advice that doesn't apply to a year one business owner. And the year one business owner has to know where they're at. They have to know where they're at. Like, you can't just delegate away your business in year one before you built anything. That's crazy. Like, you cannot do that. All that's going to do is kill your business before it gets started. So you have to understand where you're at, and I'm going to do my best to do that in this video, because sometimes it's hard to speak to people at all different levels of business with every single video, because maybe I'll go over something I'm learning today that doesn't apply to you. I'm not going to be super worried about like return on ad spend for a year one business owner. I'm just not. We have to understand where we're at in business. The first thing I would be focused on is learning how to keep my books, learning how to sell more roofing jobs, and making sure my customer experience is amazing. The reason I need to learn my books from day one is because it's super simple to keep clean, accurate books in the beginning when you're early, because there's not many transactions in and out. It's simple. You swipe your credit card a few times a day. Maybe you buy, I don't know, 3 houses of material in a week. Like, there's 3 vendor bills to input into the system. You're sending out a few invoices a week. It's very simple, which is great, because we need it simple, because we don't know how to keep books yet. But I see a lot of guys get stuck because they operate for 3 years with dog shit books, and then it's like this fucking, you have to go back, you have to figure out everything you've been doing wrong, you've got to make journal entries to correct things. It's a fucking mess to correct your book. But if you learn from day one, which I was lucky enough to learn from day one, I've always known how to keep pretty decent books, and I've gotten a lot better at it. But in year one, I wasn't like a level 0 in bookkeeping. Luckily, my dad owns a roofing company in Philly, so he was able to pass me the basics of it. How to log a credit card transaction, how to log vendor bills, how to do P&L reports for every job, you know, how to send invoices. It's very basic bookkeeping, especially for a new business, because like I said, it's simple. So if you can learn now, you're going to build the foundation and build the groundwork for bookkeeping for your entire career in business, and you'll never really have fucked up books, which is a big problem. If you talk to any CPAs, any business brokers that, like, you know, they look inside businesses' books before they sell. If you talk to these people, they tell you that the majority of business owners are terrible at keeping their books, and they're leaving money on the table in a sale. They don't know where they're at financially. A lot of them think they're making more money than they really are, and it's because they don't know how to keep their books. But it's very simple to learn how to keep your books. I've made a couple videos on it. There's videos everywhere on it. You could do research. You could talk to your CPA about it, although I will say my CPA doesn't always have the best bookkeeping advice, because they work with all different industries, and there's roofing specific nuance I don't want to miss in my bookkeeping, and there's things personally, you know, certain expense categories I like to be split out a certain way. for my reporting and for my decision making that doesn't necessarily have an effect on my taxes at the end of the year. But I like to view my reporting a certain way. So like, because I learned bookkeeping and because I understand what numbers I need to track and I understand how to run a healthy, profitable business, I kind of make the decisions on how we're going to keep our books, because I know the basics. I know where everything needs to be and how it needs to look and how to pass them to my CPA at the end of the year. And then the rest is up to me on just, it's my business. I want to know the numbers I want to know. But the reason I am that way is because I've known the bookkeeping since the beginning. And I know most young contractors and young in business, not young in age, don't know how to keep their books. And maybe hire a bookkeeper that just puts it all on them. Or maybe just works with an outside bookkeeping firm. Or maybe just even worse, just throws it all at their CPA at the end of the year to clean up and figure shit out. That's terrible. You're starting off in a really bad spot. Profits and expenses and gross profit percentages and all that shit is super important if you're going to own a business long term. And the sooner you start to learn that stuff, the better. And if you learn it early, it's going to be easier to learn it early. So just learn it early. I would learn it right away. The next thing, sales. Sales is going to be very important for you. If you don't have sales, you don't have a business. If you're in year one, I'm assuming that you are going to do a lot of the sales, which is great. This is actually my preferred method in starting a business. I know everybody doesn't do it this way, but this would be my recommendation for a few reasons. The reason I like the business owner doing the majority of the sales early on is because as the business owner, you're saving on all that sales commission you would be paying off of revenue. So if you do $1 million in year one, that's $50,000 to $100,000 you're going to keep in the business because you don't have to pay sales commissions because you do all your sales. Think about what that 50 to 100 grand could do for your business and growing your business. Because remember, we're in year one. We're not worried about making money. We're just worried about taking the money we do have and putting it in the right places to continue to grow our business and lay out the foundation for the entire career of our business so that we can have steady growth. So if you can save on sales commissions, it's going to be very useful for you. Number two is it's easier to sell as the owner. It's easier. And I found this out when I started to bring in salespeople. I found out that my homeowners aren't viewing my salespeople the same way they're viewing me as the owner of the company. People like dealing with the owner of the company. And just because you own a small company, you're still viewed as a business owner, and homeowners like that. So it's going to be an advantage for you to be able to speak to people as the owner. You're going to be able to negotiate with people on the fly. People are going to respect you. People are going to feel like they're really getting taken care of because the owner's here and he stands by his work and the owner's dealing with me, which is true. That is true. You are going to take care of people because you're out there dealing with the jobs as the owner. Nobody cares more than you. So to start a new business and then give sales off and you don't do sales at all, I don't like that way of starting a business. I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. I think you're wasting money on commissions you don't need. I think you can be a very effective salesperson as the owner. But if you just don't have a drop of sales skills in your body, that's not the right way to say that. But if you're just like, if you're not cut out for sales at all, well then okay, you'll have to hire salespeople, and that's fine. You could still make it too. But I just like selling as the owner. So you want to focus on sales, because I did not focus on sales. I would just go wing sales appointments. I can't believe I used to actually sign contracts the way I was doing it. Like showing up with dirty hands, not really dressed that nice, smelling like cigarettes, with a one fucking page paper contract that looked like it was from the 1990s. And I did used to sell roofs, so probably just because I was definitely a roofing expert. I was the owner, so I was viewed as the owner. And I've always had genuine people skills, so I would still sign some roofs. But if I would have paid attention to sales and sales techniques and sales skills, and even just like presenting myself better and professionalizing my contracts sooner, well, I would have grew my business faster, because I would have stopped showing up to people's houses in a dirty work truck with dirty hands smelling like cigarettes with a fucking piece of paper and no samples, no sales folder, no, I don't even think I had fucking business cards. We're going to pay attention to our books. We're going to learn bookkeeping so that we can have accurate books from day one. Understand the importance of sales and understand that however good I am at sales now, I need to be better and I can get better if I pay attention to it. I need to watch sales videos. I need to get technologies in my business that's going to help me estimate quicker, estimate accurately, give better looking proposals. I'm going to spend the money on sales folders. I'm always going to show up to every appointment with brochures. I'm going to take awesome photo inspections. I'm going to put the photo inspections in my proposals. So I'm going to differentiate myself from the competition because I know that I need to get better at sales. I need to find out everything I can to tweak my sales process and tweak my in-home presentation skills to make me the best salesperson I can be. I don't think I started thinking that way until like midway through year 2. So I was just not being the best sales guy I could, even though I was the only salesperson in my business. And if you're going to grow your business, you need to grow your sales. And if you're the one doing the sales, so then obviously to grow the sales, you need to be better at it. And you need to pay attention to getting better at that. And the third thing I said I would focus on from day one is my customer experience. And not only my customer experience, but my customer journey, meaning like the way I view it internally. From the minute somebody calls my office until the minute they pay us, leave a 5-star review, and we go our separate ways, and all the different steps in between, that should be dialed in. And it's going to take a little bit to dial in, but you should pay attention to what that process is early on. So this is 2 parts of the customer experience. I have experience, meaning customer service, and journey. Let's tackle customer journey first since I started going into it. This should be laid out early on, and you should do it in a CRM because that's what CRMs are for. But if you don't have a CRM, you should still know your customer journey and have a way to keep it organized. I can't really speak to how you would manage and track this and make sure that it's consistent without using a CRM. You need a CRM. That's just it. You need a CRM, and you should get it when you're the only person. When you're the only employee in the business, you should still have a CRM. Are you going to use it to its fullest capacity? No. But you're going to start to build out your system so that when you bring people onto the team, it's more organized and everything just gets fine-tuned and grows and gets more detailed and better. And everybody from day one starts in the system. It's a big lesson I've seen over and over and over again in business is that when people are brought into the company with systems, with laid out ways to train them, with organization, with the tools, they end up performing much better than the people that came into the business when you guys were fucking winging it in the beginning. So the quicker you can get to the point where you're offering this like very organized, clean position to somebody with like the exact ways and systems on how to do all their tasks. And when this happens, you do this. And when she says this, you do this. And when this person's permit gets issued, you do this, send this to this. The system automatically reminds you for this. The sooner you can turn into that business, the better, because every hire is going to be a much better hire and it's going to stay organized, and that's how you grow a real company. And it is true, nailing down your customer journey from day one. So start to think. You're the one going through all the steps with everybody. Start to think as you're doing it and start to build it out in your CRM. Okay, what are all the individual steps? Customer calls me. Okay, they're a new lead. What do I do then? I have a conversation with them. I put their information into the CRM. I schedule an appointment. Okay, now their status went from lead to schedule appointment. Okay, what happens after I schedule the appointment? Well, I go to the appointment. What do you do with the appointment? Everyone might do this differently. Well, I go to the appointment, I take inspection photos, and then I go back to my office and I create an estimate. Okay, step 1, lead. Step 2, appointment scheduled. Step 3, create estimate. Boom. What do you do after you create an estimate? Well, I usually send the proposal. Okay, what do you do after you send the proposal? I call it a follow-up, or I try to schedule up a follow-up appointment. Okay, so you're starting to see how this goes. Step 1, new lead. Step 2, appointment scheduled. Step 3, create estimate. Step 4, send estimate. Step 5, follow-up call / follow-up appointment. Okay, you sign the contract. Step 6, sign contract. What happens after you sign a contract? Step 7, submit for the permit. Step 8, waiting for permit. Step 9, permit issued, schedule job. Step 10, order materials, and just on and on and on and on and on. And now you have nice clean boxes you can bring every single customer through. So when you start to hire people, maybe you give them boxes 1 through 6, and then you take it from there. And now you can start to see this is how departments are built within an organization. The permitting department would take it from signed contract to permit issued, and everything in between would be that person's shop. For my business, that's one person. I have a one-person permitting department, and she takes the customers from here to here and then passes them to who? the production department. And then the production department takes them from here, from permit issued scheduled jobs, all the way to final inspection. And then after final inspection, the production department passes it to our billing department. You know, and the sales department is in the beginning. So the quicker you can start thinking this way, the better, because you're going to be super organized, even more organized than you would have been. Even, you know, you may be an organized guy, you're starting out, you pay attention to shit. But how are you going to stay organized when you add people to your team? This is exactly how. Okay, so you want to start to build out your customer workflow, or your job workflow, or your customer journey, however you want to call it. It's all the same shit. But this is how corporations stay organized. They understand their customer journey step by step, and each department and each individual in every department knows exactly what part of the customer journey they're in charge for, and they have systems laid out on how to do every single task within that section of the customer journey. Obviously, you're in year one, and I mentioned we have to know where we're at in business and know what's important to us. But I promise you this is important to you, because what I'm going to get to a little later is you need to hire people early. And when hiring people, it's a lot more effective to hire people if your systems are laid out in this way, rather than just trying to bring in someone to be a superstar and throw a lot of stress and bullshit on them and now run inefficient with 2 people instead of 1. Well, no, you don't want to do that. And that's why this is important. It's important to start thinking this way from day one. When we talk about customer experience, you have to make sure that you're offering an amazing customer experience to pretty much 100% of your customers in the beginning, because there's no reason not to. There's no excuse not to. I'm not saying that everything's going to go perfect. That's crazy to say that. Everything did not go perfect for me. I had fucking nightmares happen to me in year one as far as the roofing jobs. But I always took care of it. And it's an important thing to note. Like, there's a reason we have nothing but 5-star reviews. We don't even have any 4s, let alone any 0s, is because the only way you can really get a bad review, unless it's some psycho in traffic or something, but we're usually able to get them taken down. The only way you can really get a bad review is if you don't do the right thing when a job went wrong and you don't take care of it. Because like, if something goes wrong, you guys made a mistake, you guys broke something, whatever the situation is, and you show up and you just say, yeah, we fucked this one up. This is bad. I'm really sorry. I'm not happy that this happened. I'm not happy that we did this to your home, or fill in the blank. We're going to take care of this. Just like let's look around. Let's put a plan together on the best thing to do to take care of this. When you do that, that person is not going to hate you, because it's not personal. They understand mistakes happen, and you're showing your character by letting them know you're going to do whatever you have to do to fix this problem. So that's how we handle problems, and that's why we don't get any bad reviews. But the companies that kind of abandon people when stuff gets hairy, well, those are the ones that get sued. Those are the ones that get bad reviews. And those are the ones, in my opinion, don't deserve to be in business, because if your business fucks something up, you got to fix it. That's just what it is. It's part of the game. So I'm not expecting you to have 0 problems like that in year one, but take care of them. So I am expecting every single customer that deals with your company to have an amazing experience. Like, know that you're a stand-up guy. And more times than not, you're not going to deal with nightmares. So most of your customers should have a glowing 5-star experience that they'll tell their friends about. If you don't have that when it's just you and you're early on and you don't really have a team yet, and it's kind of like you in charge of the whole process, you're not cut out for business. I'll tell you straight up, you're not. Because if it's just you, you're the one touching every customer, you're the one managing the jobs, you're the one doing a big bulk of delivering the customer experience, and you can't offer a good experience as the homeowner to all of your customers, you shouldn't own a business. Because you should care so much about making your customers happy, because that's what owning a business is. You don't have a business without customers. And the way you get more customers is by taking care of your existing customer, outside of marketing. But if you can't do that as a solo guy, as a guy just starting out, you should shut your doors now. If you don't really give a shit about the customers and they just piss you off for the most part, and you don't go the extra mile for them, and you're not trying to please every single customer, and it doesn't pump you up to get 5-star reviews, you're not cut out to be in the business you're in, and you should shut your doors. I digress. So if we've learned how to keep our books, and we're keeping clean books from day one, we know how important sales is, and really personal sales and personal improvement in the sales department, and just sales process, sales skills, in-home presentations. Just really focus on becoming a better salesperson. And 3, we're giving amazing customer experiences while also paying attention to the customer journey and trying to build all that stuff out into our CRM, at least the foundation for it. This is a great place to start in year one. An amazing place to start in year one. There's more to it, but this is a great place to start. I did not start like this 100%. I didn't pay attention to sales, and I didn't take sales as serious as I should have been. I did have the bookkeeping handled. I did have my customer experience, my customer service handled, but not the customer journey part, not even a little bit. I didn't think that way at all. Not in year one. So I had pieces of it, but if you were able to put all these pieces together, this is an amazing place to start. And you'll notice I said nothing about marketing. I opened the video with a little shout out to brand. Brand's important. I don't really want to talk about brand in this video. I want to talk about year one tactics. I didn't talk about marketing. I don't think you need to be super, super, super heavily focused on marketing right off the bat. I just don't. I think you need to have the basics down. I think you need to have your Google listing down. I think you need to have your socials built out. I think you need to post little shit here and there. But I think you just need to be focused on selling more jobs and giving everybody an amazing experience. And I think more jobs will come from that. And you have no overhead, so we don't need to be throwing all this money at marketing. I would be more concerned with adding somebody to the team right away. I didn't do this, and I know a lot of other guys don't do this, but it's so obvious to me now that I am where I am. It's so obvious that I should have built my team sooner, because you can't do anything without a team. Anywhere you want to take your business, you know you can't get there by yourself. So why are you staying by yourself so long? You have money to hire somebody, just do it. And this goes back to what I opened the video with. We should not be trying to make a ton of money in the early years of our business. We should just be trying to build a business. So stop holding on to your pennies. You have more money to hire somebody than you think. 100% of the time I've seen that. There's a lot of money in and out of a roofing company. You've got money to make payroll. And I'll tell you a secret. It's actually good for you to feel that pressure of raising your expenses a little bit. Not that you need to be careless, but taking risks in the form of investing in your business, it's good to keep you moving. It's good to get you out of bed. It's good to give you that survival mode energy. It's good. So hire the person, make you a little nervous, and you'll work that much harder. But you should hire the person, and you should start to build your team, because we don't really become real business owners until we learn how to be a leader, until we learn how to interview, until we learn how to hire, until we learn how to fire, until we learn how to onboard and train and build systems out for our team and our entire organization. Like, that's what being a business owner is. And a lot of guys will go 2, 3, 4, 5 their whole career in business without actually getting to this step and becoming a real business owner. So like, don't stay stuck there. Hire somebody. You cannot. And I did this. So like, I know you kind of can, because I did it, but you cannot be the project manager out there supervising jobs, running sales appointments, keeping your books, trying to pay attention to the money, dropping off material, running dump trailers, pulling permits. I'm sure I missed a bunch. You can't be out there running around like a chicken with your head cut off and still be answering the phone for your business. Like, I remember being up on roofs, and like I had 2 phones. I had the office number on Google, and I had my cell phone. And I remember being up on roofs, like having to answer the office number that like people find on Google, and having to like run to another side of the roof where like the nail gun wasn't so loud, and like get crouched down at the bottom of a hip and just try to like, I'd answer the phone like, Andrew Thomas Contracting, and I would have my phone out, my other phone in my hand, and I'd be trying to like take notes of the call. You can't, you're not a secretary. Like, you need someone to answer the phone. And guess what? Your phone's not ringing off the hook because it's year one. It's just not, she may answer 4 calls a day, 5 calls a day. She'll have time to do all sorts of other stuff that's going to be helpful to you. And she's going to be better at it than you, because she's sitting in her office very calm, composed, and has all the time in the world all day long to focus on the things that you need help with. Maybe that's permitting, maybe that's typing up your contracts, maybe that's making posts online like your Google posts, your whatever the fuck it is. She's got all sorts of time to do the things that you're not doing, the things that you're not even that good at. And she can start to get better at those things, because long term, you as a business owner are not going to do those activities. I view every single activity in my business as something I'm not going to do long term, which is a nice tip. Every single activity or function that you have in your business, you should not try. You should just understand, I don't want to hold on to this forever. I'm going to learn this thing. I'm going to get really good at this thing. I'm going to do this thing out of necessity because I don't have anybody else to do it. But I'm going to pass this to somebody else, and eventually I will never do this again. And I've pretty much done that with every single task that happens in my business. The last thing I was holding on to was marketing, and I just hired a pretty high-level director of marketing that starts in 2 weeks. So I'm going to work with her very closely. I'm happy that I spent so much time on the marketing because I know a lot about it. I have really good strategies. I know how I want to market my business. It's a full-time job to market your business. It's not me like 5 hours a week marketing my business. I need somebody to do it every single day. It's a full-time job. So in my opinion, I waited too long to hire the marketing person. I had talked about this last year and I never did it. I kept it and that was a mistake. So I'm still making mistakes. But I've given away every single task that I do in my business. Like I used to pull permits. I used to estimate jobs. I used to run sales appointments. I used to manage jobs. I used to load trucks. I used to drive dump trailers. I used to answer the phone. I used to do everything, and I do zero of those things anymore. And that should be your goal. And the lower level the function is, the quicker you need to get rid of it. You need to understand that your time is valuable. And the time spent on this low-level activity, whatever it may be, driving a dump trailer, definitely one of them. I know that's a big one we get caught doing. Like running material to a job, definitely one of them. It's a lower level job. Anyone with a driver's license can do that job. You should try to get out of that as soon as you can, because all that time spent doing those things could be better spent focusing on sales, maybe focusing on marketing when we start to get into marketing, maybe focused on building systems for your business. Whatever the higher level thing is, there's better things you could be doing. So you should understand that the lower level the task, the quicker I need to get rid of it. And the way we get rid of it is we hire early. Why we're able to hire early is because we know we're not in this business thing right now to get rich in year 1 or get rich in year 2 or get rich even in year 3. We're here to build a business. That is the entire goal right now. We are here to build a business, build the foundation of our business through systems, through hiring, through starting to build a real organization from year 1. If I would have went about it differently, I know that I could have been at my revenue size now in 3 years. Instead of 6. I know for a fact. I wasted way too much time. I didn't start building my team early enough. I didn't take systems serious early enough. I didn't take sales serious early enough. There's a lot of things I didn't do, and there's a lot of time I wasted being the solo guy, wasted doing lower level functions so that I couldn't start to come out of my shell and actually become a business owner because I was just so bogged down by the bullshit of the day-to-day in a roofing company. So I hope that you hear this and you start to understand this stuff. And there's a million other different directions I could go in with this topic. This is a good framework. Learn your books, because if you learn them now, when it's simple, it's easier to learn. You're going to build a good foundation of bookkeeping. You're going to have a good grasp of a roofing company's financials and what they should look like. You're going to understand what you need to track for years to come. You're going to be able to coach your future in-house bookkeepers on what you like to look at, what reports you want to see, how things get done, because you know them yourself. You're going to be able to talk to your fractional CFO about the numbers of your business. You're going to be able to talk to business brokers. People are going to tell you have clean books. Banks are going to want to lend you money. This is all super important. You own a business now. This is like big boy stuff. You need to learn this stuff. So learn your books. 2, become a killer salesperson. Understanding how important a sales department is for a roofing company, for a company that's going to grow, is huge. So you need to pay attention to it day 1. Sales are fucking important. Day 1. You need to have a killer sales department. You need killer salespeople. And the way you do that is by becoming one yourself first. And then 3, customer experience. You have to make sure that you deliver an amazing customer experience when you're early, and it's easy to do so because you're not that busy and you're still touching every single customer. And if you're not able to do that consistently in year 1, when that is you should shut your doors down because you're not meant for business. Because like you should have a burning desire to please every single customer, because that's doing the right thing with your business, and that's the reason we're in business to begin with. And then the second half of part 3 is laying out all your systems so that when you start to bring in your team members, which we're going to do early, not later, because we're not worried about making money in the beginning. We don't care if we're living a little grimy. We don't care if we have no money to show for our business. We're going to add team members because that's what we need to. And now we've added team members into a system that is like a well-oiled machine, and it's easy to see how this thing would be scalable. So if you do all those things in year 1, I promise you will have a way bigger business than I did in years 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll probably pass me one day because I had a slow start. But now we're starting to pour gas on everything I know I missed, and we'll see. I'll race you.